Good morning, explorers. Good morning. It's another beautiful-ish day here in Pierce, South Dakota. Welcome to another segment of Be and Explore. This is going to be our last week of everyday live streaming for a while yet. We're going to take a break, think about what we're going to do this summer. Good morning, Paula's family, and be back with you probably sometime in early June. But so we have a special week happening this week. We are talking about all things sourdough science. Yesterday, if you didn't get a chance to see it, I suggest you go back and look at Science Fun with Jan, and she made sourdough starter, and I actually made some sourdough starter, and I have it right here. I've named it Bubbles. Good morning, Agatha family. I haven't fed it yet today. You're supposed to feed your sourdough starter every day. So I will feed Bubbles later. Some of you, I believe it was Scott's family, talked about how they named their starter George, and I believe Jan named hers Fred. Good morning, Scott's family and Amanda's family. So if you haven't started your sourdough starter yet, you can still go ahead and start it at any time. Tomorrow, Bree Oatman will be with us, and she will be talking about the shape of bread. Thursday, Jan will be back doing more cooking, and then Friday, I will be outside. Hopefully, I'm going to try to invite some of my explorer friends, and we'll be doing some outside cooking. Like if you're an explorer and you go into the field to do your field work, you have to do some camping and some eating. So awesome. That's good to hear. Glad to see news of the sourdough starters happening. I'm going to move to my outside camera. So just a quick change over here, and I will be right back. While I'm transitioning, go take a quick peek at your weather. Okay, I am back. You'll notice I have headphones, and I'm doing that because the traffic seemed particularly loud today. And I wanted to make sure you could hear me and I could hear anything going on there. So what do we have happening here in Pierre? Well, as you can see behind me, we have stratus clouds. It's pretty chilly. And the leaves are, I'd say it's a Beaufort scale of 2. 0 is nothing's moving. 1 is small twigs, leaves and grass moving. 2 are the small twigs. 3 small branches. 4 large branches. 5 whole trees. This past weekend we had 5+ wind. So, but today not that bad. Maybe it's a 3. I'm seeing some movement in some of the branches. Maybe between a 3, maybe a 4. I wanted to show you something that we're selling at the Discovery Center. So for you to have while you take your break. Those of you who don't have a thermometer, you can get one in our Explorer kits. So our Explorer kits have a thermometer, and we do have Celsius and Fahrenheit. And you can see our thermometer, which has been outside for just a few minutes, is reading about 11 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius. Look at the Celsius. Just forget the Fahrenheit there. We also have a journal because we are all about journaling. It has a pencil. It has a Petri dish for collecting samples. Those of you who got the soil kits, your soil came in Petri dish. It has a pipette, and you can't really see what one of these is.
sort of like that because of the light, but it's like an eyedropper, but you can squeeze some liquid up or use it to poke things around that you don't want to touch with your finger. And then there's a list of suggestions and ideas. So these are available like for $14.04 at the Discovery Center. And if you go to our website, free for everybody. If you get a kit, you'll also get one of these. And these are a cloud viewer. And you take out the middle. And then you hold it up against the clouds, and here are all the names of the clouds to help you remember. So today is very much this kind of day. Oh, that says nimbostratus. We want this kind of day. And when I hold it up, you can kind of see which matches the best. We'll try to get some other goodies for you. For the store, for the kit. So if you have some of those, if you don't need all of that, just email store@sd-discovery.org and you will be able to talk to Sarah about what you have, what you want, and make the arrangement. Once you place your order, you set up a time to go pick it up, and and you finally get to meet Sarah, and she'll bring it out to your car. So we are still social distancing at the Discovery Center. We are still doing our peer safe practices. We aren't quite ready to open up because when you're hands-on and you have people together, that requires some extra thinking and planning. But we want you to be safe. But we also want you to be outside and be explorers, and that's why we're getting you these explorer kits. So I hope even if you don't get this kit, you do find some tools to keep you exploring even after our live streams are over. And I just saw a Eurasian collar dove land back there. That's one of the cool things about being outside. You never know what you're going to see. So today, you're wondering why I'm outside if we're talking about sourdough. Well, we're talking about a little specific magic part of sourdough, and that's the yeast. That's how you can just take flour and water and mix it up, and over a couple of days, it becomes this wonderful, yummy dough that makes puffy bread. So how does it go from just flour and water to puffy bread? And that puffiness is the magic of yeast. And Bree will talk more about the puffiness tomorrow, but today I want to talk a little bit about the yeast and what that is. And yeast is actually a single cell organism, a bunch of single cell organisms, and they digest the flour and they give off gas that helps make the bread puffy. That makes the flour when you cook it puffy. Microbes, they're called microbes, these single-celled individual organisms that we can't see, are really important to us. We have them living inside of us, we have them living on us, and for a healthy microbiome, we need to get outside. That's one of the places we can pick up the healthy organisms. You still want to wash your hands when you come in case you picked up something that wasn't so healthy. You don't want to eat it. But being outside is a good place to keep your microbiome, all the microbes that you need, healthy and strong. I have a special setup here, and it's a compost bucket. And this is a way that microbes can help us and be useful for us, because not only can microbes help make our bread through the yeast, but they can help break down food to make compost that in turn feeds the soil and the little organisms in the soil. So I'm going to bring on the compost bucket here. And you can see that this is just a regular 5-gallon bucket. And I'll show you what I did to put it together here. And in it, I have an onion. I have several onions. Pro tip, it's really not a good idea to put big pieces of food like this in your compost bucket because they don't break down very fast. But I had some tea bags. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, you can see I added some eggshells at some point. And so I started this a while ago. And every once in a while, I just throw some old veggie scraps or some paper or eggshells in it. And you can see the stuff at the bottom. Oh, there's some sort of little organism in there. Probably a very cold organism. Has turned into, the stuff at the bottom has turned into soil by the power of microbes. And you can still see like the eggshells take longer to break down. But all the other stuff is just soil. And some sort of insect. We'll cover him back up. I bet that guy is pretty cold. So how do you make this compost bucket? Well, first of all, you don't need a bucket. You can just set up a place in your backyard where you can do this, and that would be that. You just bring your scraps out, and you cover them up with leaves, and every once in a while you turn them over. But what I did is I just got a 5-gallon bucket, and you put holes in the bottom. Now, I haven't put holes in these because this is my husband's bucket, and he's going to use it for something else. But I just wanted to show you, it's just a regular bucket. And then after you put holes in it, because you want the water to drain out, you don't want water standing in there. And my bucket has been outside all last summer, all winter, and you can see there wasn't any water. You can't see it all drained out. So you cover the bottom with rocks. Oops. And that way the water can drain out and it won't get the scraps all mushy. And this is literally it. You set it someplace, and someplace I found that's close to the kitchen, because one of the things that keeps you from having a big compost bucket is that sometimes you just get busy and bringing your scraps out feels like a lot more work than it actually is. But we just would keep a coffee can full of scraps and like our peelings and things like that, and then bring them out to the bucket. But even that, you can get busy and not want to do it. So you just have to keep this compost bucket someplace that's close to you, and you can have your compost bucket. So let's come back. Let me come back and see all of you. There we go. There are strategies for composting that are a lot more complicated than a bucket. But by and large, you only put vegetable and paper in your compost bucket. You don't put meat, you don't put anything that's really greasy, you don't put dairy like cheeses or anything like that, because those can begin, because they've got animal proteins in them, can kind of get stinky. I was reading an article the other day about how in Japan they have a system for composting in your house that's in a cardboard box, and you can just keep it in your living room. Japan is an island nation, and it doesn't have a lot of space. So the houses are like apartments, and they tend to be very close together. So people don't have big backyards where they can put even a compost bucket. So they have figured out a system to compost in their living rooms. So I've not tried it personally. You'll probably want to read up on that before you actually try it, or maybe practice in a less populated part of the house. So in case something goes bad, you're not stuck with bad compost in your living room. So all the compost is made possible by the power of microbes. Just like we have yeast, just like we have a healthy stomach and tummy, just like we have a lot of good things. We can't see them with our eyes, but they're really important to us. So as you're out exploring, just keep in mind about the microbes, and enjoy. So, of course, stay safe, stay curious, and oh, order an explorer's kit and then go explore. We'll see you later. Bye.